Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing the best new dive watch of 2020. Nope, not the Rolex Submariner. This, with 10-year warranty, is the Oris Aquis Date Calibre 400, a watch I have been dying to review since I first saw the press release for the movement alone. 43.5 millimeters in stainless steel, the watch is remarkably thin at only 13.3 millimeters thick, 50.1 millimeters lug-to-lug. When I throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, it's a perfect fit as the bracelet pivots at the point of junction with the lug so it doesn't flare out. And you can see this down the barrel shot. I've got plenty of clearance on each side. Over the top, you can see it's a good match. I could wear this on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. And the cuff shot revealing that the watch would fit underneath most tighter sleeves. It's nicely balanced by the bracelet and the clasp, and you can see both are substantial pieces. It's also worth mentioning that they're handsome. The bracelet features differential finish and staggered link alignment. I apologize for my fingerprints, but I've had my grubby paws all over this little wonder. As you can see, the contrast is high, the taper is obvious, and the design, though a 3-link design, owes almost nothing to the industry standard Rolex Oyster. This is all their own. You can also see that despite the price point, each individual removable link is fixed in place by a screw. Moreover, there is a quick release system underneath that allows you to instantly pop the bracelet off the watch and replace it with the strap that comes included standard from the factory. So you have a quick release system and a secondary band for the watch. Rolling over the clasp, you can see that the swing arm is substantial. It doesn't feel stamped so much as it feels machined. It's thick gauge. And the clasp includes a proper fold-out dive extension plus 3 different divots drilled internally so you can use your strap tool to re-anchor the bracelet and fine-tune the sizing. You'll also note that there are half links built into the bracelet, and then there are plenty of gaps on the underside to avoid pinching skin, pulling hair, or trapping wrist heat. Now, you might be wondering how this quick release system works. I'm going to do my best to show you with fingernails that have been manicured specifically for your viewing pleasure. But as you can see, it is a very easy buckle-based system that feels as solid as a rifle bolt. In practice, it is redoubtable and impressive. I'll even mention that it's remarkably easy to put it all back together. And the case itself hasn't changed a whole lot since the last Aquis Date, but that's fine because style was always a high point of these watches. The bracelet is integrated, and as you can see, the end links are pivoted, so it'll pull right down around the sides of a small wrist if you're marginal for size. This is going to fit well on a small wrist. The case band is interesting because it owes almost nothing to other sports watches. You can see it's slightly conical as it cants inward as you move toward the top. It's longitudinally satin finished, and the lugs are broken out sharply. Distinct break from, for example, the integrated lug profile of the Rolex Submariner. Rolling around to the crown side, you can see it has a big crown, a nod to ancestral dive watch design, but it's also nicely shouldered with screw-fixed removable shoulders, so if they get gouged by impact while they're protecting the crown, they can actually be replaced as they're fixed in place by screws. Polished outer bezel, and you can see the underside of the bezel is polished. The top of the bezel is ceramic. So this ceramic bezel cap cannot be scratched short of blunt force trauma of extraordinary magnitude. If your wrist is still intact, chances are the bezel is not cracked. Quickly turning, we'll hear the ratchet here. In case you're wondering, the ratchet is 120 clicks, meaning you can precisely locate the bezel pearl against the minute hand. Now you have a 0 to 60 minute count-up timer, better than a chronograph and easier to read. The dial is of high grade, a blue gradient from explosive, almost iridescent blue, a sort of ion blue at center to black or navy at the edge. You can also see that all of the indices are handsomely appliqué rather than printed. Given the price of this watch, that's impressive. And they are polished and rhodium-plated steel, so they really glisten and gleam. All the hands are loomed, which is a feature every dive watch should include. And happily, because I want to show you that wonderful new Calibre 400 movement, I'm going to pop the bracelet off now using the quick release system. And this is the flavor of 2020. An all-new, all-Oris manufacture movement called Calibre 400. Let's talk about the headlining features first. a 10-year warranty, a 10-year service interval, and a 5-day power reserve. Twin mainspring barrels giving the watch not just a long power reserve, but ensuring that after 24, 48, 72 hours, the balance amplitude doesn't drop dramatically. That's one advantage. Two smaller barrels will always have over one huge barrel. It's a 21 joule movement that beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, so they didn't slow the beat rate down to increase the power reserve. There are no compromises, as the system also has a quick set as well as a hacking seconds function, and you can see Edicron is used for its adjustment, plus there's a proprietary rack and pinion micrometric regulator for beat error primarily, I'm thinking. So this is a watch that can be adjusted very accurately, and if you're wondering what that means, there is actually a standard. They will adjust it at Oris's factory to no worse than -3 + 5 seconds per day, which is comparable to Grand Seiko high beat mechanicals and superior to the COSC standards. If you look carefully, you can see an anti-magnetic unlubricated silicone escapement, both the lever and the escape wheel. Not only does this improve performance in between services and reduce friction, but it also endows the watch with a significant measure of anti-magnetic resistance, and of course it is water resistant to 300 meters. There is a lot to love on this new Oris Aquis Date, and I am simply infatuated. Forget the sub. No wait. This is the watch to own. This is the watch that ultimately will give you more pleasure and more value than a much speculated sports watch from Geneva. Reach out to Tim Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And we're back with the Oris Aquis Date. I should also mention, for fans of display casebacks, this new movement is 28 millimeters, considerably larger than the previous 25.6 millimeter movements used in previous Salida-powered Oris Aquis models.